We visited Bursa on our second day of Ankara Nowruz trip in 2026, when we visited 5 different UNESCO World Heritage Sites and drove more than 1600 kilometers in 96 hours. The Bursa is a relatively large city with more than 2 million population. It's known to Turks as Yeşil Bursa, Green Bursa. It has tranquil parks and leafy suburbs set on the lower slopes of Mount Uludağ. The mountain is quite high, actually, around 2,500 meters. With ski resorts, cable car roads to those resorts. This disguises the vibrant commercial heart of the city, which is today made prosperous by automobiles, food and textiles, as it was by the silk trade in the 15th and 16th centuries. The Romans developed the potential of Bursa mineral springs, and they are estimated to be about 3,000 thermal baths in the city today. In 1326, Bursa became the first capital of the Ottoman Empire after it succumbed to Osman. Bursa has been a provincial capital since 1841, and despite its commercial center, it has retained its pious dignity. No city in Turkey has more mosques and tombs. Paradoxically, it is also the home of the satirical shadow puppet genre known as Karagöz. We visited Turkish Museum of Islamic Arts when there is some exhibition about Karagöz. It's an interesting museum housed in the fine Ottoman era building, once a madrasa, and not far from the Green Mosque. Green Mosque was the first place of interest that we visited. So Bursa most famous monument was commissioned by Mehmed I in 1412, but it remained unfinished at his death in 1421 and still lacks a portico. Nevertheless, it is the finest Ottoman mosque built prior to the conquest of Constantinople. The main portal is tall and elegant, with an intricately carved canopy. It opens into the entrance hall. Beyond this is an interior court with a carved fountain at its center. A flight of 3 steps leads up from here into the prayer hall. On either side of the steps are niches for worshippers to leave their shoes. Above the entrance to the court is a Sultan's lodge, resplendent in richly patterned tiles, created using the cuerda seca technique. They are in beautiful greens, blues, and yellow, with threads of gold that were added after firing. The tiling of the prayer hall was carried out by Ali ibn Ilyas Ali, who learned his art in Samarkand. So there is Timurid influence because Timurid were conquering some parts of Ottoman Empire, with Tamerlan invading the modern Turkish territory around this time, actually, in the beginning of the 15th century. This was the first time the tiles were used extensively in an Ottoman mosque, and it set a precedent for the later widespread use of Iznik tiles, the tiles covering the walls of the prayer hall, which is well lit by floor-level windows, are simple, green, and hexagonal. Against this plain backdrop, the effect of the mihrab is especially glorious. Predominantly turquoise, deep blue, and white, with touches of gold, the mihrab styles depict flowers, leaves, arabesques, and geometric patterns. The mosque's exterior was also once clad in tiles, but they have disappeared over time. Not far from Green Mosque, there is a green tomb, the tomb of Mehmed I, which stands elevated among tall cypress trees, is one of the city's most prominent landmarks. It was built between 1414 and 1421. The Silturp, it's also called. The tomb is much closer to Seljuk style of architecture than classical Ottoman. Its exterior is covered in green tiles, mainly 19th century replacement for the original faïence. A few older tiles survive around the entrance portal. The interior, entered through a pair of superbly carved wooden doors, is simply dazzling. The space is small and ornamentations, covering the relatively large surface area, is breathtaking in its depth of color and detail. The mihrab has especially intricate tile panels, including a representation of a mosque lamp hanging from a gold chain between two candles. The Sultan's magnificent sarcophagus is covered in exquisite tiles and adorned by a long Quranic inscription. Nearby sarcophagi contain the remains of his son, daughters, and nursemaid.